a perfectly competitive market, a perfect competition. In this video, I'm going to explain a perfect competition. This is a perfect firm. How do we know it? It's because the demand curve is perfectly elastic. So we've got 5 different demand curves. I'm going to explain each of their implications. We've got D1, D2, D3, D4, and D5. So in a perfectly competitive market, the firms only maximizes the profit where a marginal cost is equal to a marginal revenue. So here we are going to identify those points where the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue. Let's start with the first one. In D1, MC is equal to MR at this point. The marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue at this point. And then at D2, MC is equal to MR at this point. In D3, MC is equal to MR at this point. And in D4, MC is equal to MR at this point. And then in D5, MC and MR is equal to, they are equal at this point. So what does that tell us? It means that when this firm, D1, they can only produce up until this quantity. And then D2, they can produce up to this quantity. And D3, they can produce up to this quantity, as well as D2 at this quantity and D1 at this quantity. So to find a profit maximization, we just have to identify those points. So at this point, D1 at this point, when you look at the price is greater than the average total cost. So it means that these guys are making an economic profit. It's an economic profit. So because this is a perfectly competitive market, when the firm is making an economic profit, many firms will come and compete with this firm because the entry is free. So after this profit, it will attract a lot of firms that will compete with them, and then as they enter the market, the supply curve will increase, and then the price will have to decrease. So at this point, the firm is making an economic profit. What does point 2 tell us? D2. D2, when you look at D2, you can see that the price is equal to the average total cost. It means that they are no longer making an economic profit. They are just breaking even. This is called a break-even point. It's just a break-even point, or you can say it's a long run equilibrium. What does D3 tells us? D3, when you look at D3, the price is less than the average total cost. So they are no longer making an economic profit, they are no longer making a normal profit, they are just making an economic loss. They are minimizing losses, or you can just say it's the economic loss. So what does D4 tell us? At D4 you can see that these guys, the price is less than, is equal to the average variable cost. They are in a critical position, but now what they can say, what they can do, they can still continue with their production because they are able to pay their average variable cost. So it means that things such as securities, electricity, and the rental amount, they do have the amount to pay for such costs, but they are not making any profit. But we can advise them to continue producing, because an example of that is the tutorial program that I do. There might be a point where I'll be left with a very few students, but I know before the exams, the demand for these economic videos will increase, because many students will be looking for more classes so that they can pass economics. So they will come in a number. So it's possible for these firms to make a 90% profit in a very few days. So these guys can continue to produce, because they 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 can make profit in a very short time. So what does D5 tells us? At D5, the price is less than the average variable cost. It means that they can't even afford their average variable cost. So this point D4, in fact, it's a shutdown point. These guys should shut down, because one mistake, if they lose that that, that price, they will have to shut down and close the doors. It's a shutdown, and at this point, D5 already they cannot operate anymore. So basically, what I was going to what I was explaining here is that we've got a shutdown point, we've got a break-even point, we've got an economic profit, and then what's going on here? This is a supply curve in a long run. You can take this MC as a supply curve in a long run. The short run starts from this point where they can produce in the short run. So basically, this is what I was going to introduce this morning. In the next video, I'll be explaining the monopolistic competition. I think it's clear. For more information, you can also check these videos on Facebook. The group name is Macroeconomics for NISA students. Thanks for watching.